glad that I didn't
Mm-hmm.
face end of life.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, it was so uncomfortable, and it was more discomfort than pain. It just wasn't worth the effort. That was the words that kept coming back to me. It's not worth the effort. Well, it doesn't really matter when you die. It's only it'll be awkward and inconvenient for all those I'm leaving behind anyway, so it doesn't matter when.
Well, the reaction from my side is you don't want it to happen. You don't want him to go. But are you prolonging it for your own benefit? To satisfy your own needs? Or do they deserve to write that if they've had enough, then to let it go when they feel like it?
And so, David, hearing that, some thoughts about Bruce's perspective on your...
Well, that's the only
struggle.
reason you'd want to prolong it, is the feeling that the people you love around you, particularly your children and wife and
Sophie.
brothers and so forth, and then friends and relatives who are not ready to let you go. They would feel a loss, but they're going to feel that loss at any time, whenever it happens.
And when we talk about ending life, I get the sense you're not talking about self-harming there. What was that energy around I'm ready to leave my life?
No, I thought it was happening anyway, and I would just be happy to not fight it, just to let it happen. I didn't, at any stage, contemplate suicide.
And Bruce, for you, the decision that some power within David, that he's now with you, still with you, what's that, how did that sit with you, that David made the choice to continue?
I'm happy that he made the choice to continue, but I'd fully understand if he wanted to go the other way. Because I have those feelings myself sometimes.
When you were contemplating death, what sort of pragmatic view, I'm getting a sense here of this pragmatic view around the meaning of life in a way, is that the sense I'm picking up?
Yeah, I thought the things that people would normally feel, is there anything after this, or is it just a blank wall when you go over that line?
Any insights around that?
Well, I came to the conclusion that there must be something else, but it's not like what we've been taught to believe in Sunday school. But I like the idea that you probably just return to the sea of life, and you're part of a much greater thing. It's not an individual experience.
And David, you've done a lot of work and volunteering and support in palliative care.
Yes.
I feel like I've got the answer to this question already, but when you were in that moment of it's not worth it anymore, it's too hard to struggle, did it give you a deeper insight into the people that you've supported around their choice of death?
No, I think I understood their view very well indeed. And nearly always, they talk about the pain that it will cause the people they love, not the pain that they're going to experience. They just don't want discomfort or pain. I didn't have serious pain, so I really can't speak for that. It's about just making life easier without getting het up about quite minor things.
How easy or hard has that been to?
Not hard at all. I want my life to be simpler. I don't want to have an argument with anyone. It isn't worth it.
And this talk that we're having, it's enlightening. I find it to be empowering. Yet we don't have this discussion around death, and I'm interested in both of your opinions about how easy it's been for you to have this discussion. First, you, Bruce, with your brother.
Well, it's not hard to talk about it once you understand that it's there for everybody and it's going to happen. I don't feel anyone should have to suffer continually just to satisfy other people. When it's time to go, you'll know, and then you make the decision yourself, and it'll be the right decision. People on the outside won't see that, but they have to understand too. And I think there needs to be a lot more discussion about it.
And how much discussion has your family, not just you two, but other members of your family, had around this with David? And with yourself? You mentioned yourself and that the time to go question.
Well, yeah, we have thought about it a lot. My wife and I have talked about it, but like there's no decision to do it today or tomorrow or anything like that. But when the time is right, or things get too hard or whatever else, or the pain becomes unbearable, you shouldn't need to suffer, and everyone should have the right to make that choice.
Yeah, it's not any desperate pain. It's just you get to the point where we've reached the end of the road. We don't want to go on with this anymore. But then it clears, and then the next day you think, no, I do want to go on. I do want to. There are things I wish to do, but it encourages you then to do those things that you need to do.
I'm fascinated about coming towards the end of that road on that day, and the next day being revitalised.
Yes, that was very clear.
And it sounds so clear, but how do you go from, if we'll use the metaphor of a road, how do you get from road end of the journey to the road I want to keep going on the journey? How does that happen? Is it just
happens?
Just happens.
There's no great intellectual or emotional involvement. It just, that'll be right too. Yeah, okay. The other alternative would be all right.
My first sense is that I hope I don't have to go through a stroke to get to that point of wanting to make my life more simple, but I think it's a lovely sentiment.
Now, there's a good book by Levine where it's called A Year to Live, and he brings together a group of people who want to contemplate this area, and all they do is plan for a year the end of their life. They get rid of all their assets and things that they don't actually need for the next stage of life, and life is simpler and easier, and when it comes it's no trouble at all. I didn't at any stage contemplate suicide. When life got very difficult in New Zealand, I thought of it. On the plane coming back to Australia, I did once since I've been back in Australia. But it's just when things get out of hand. I got I got the shakes once back here, and I thought, well, this is too hard. I just want out. It was just terribly innovating, and there just didn't seem any upside ahead. You think, if it's going to be like this, I'm going to feel like this, I'm going to be living a half life, I'd rather go now. I don't want to go through all that strong effort to try and get it all back in order, only to die soon afterwards.
David, you mentioned Sophie, your wife, a number of times. Yeah. What's the conversation been like around the end of your life? These things you've been sharing with us. What's it been like interacting with Sophie? Well,
we didn't discuss that particular bit specifically, but I think we've always understood that because of my involvement in palliative care, and Soph's ability to deal with her mother's death and other people in the family. She's actually had quite a lot of practical experience in that area, so we were on the same wavelength.
Bruce, a final thought?
I don't believe in any of the religious stuff myself either. When you go, you go. I don't know that there's anything else after that. But it's just your decision when it's time, and that's what it should be.
In this moment, sharing two brothers' understanding. It's a privilege, and so thank you for being willing to share for others. And I've certainly learnt something else about my end of the journey, and I want to keep on that road of the path of life right now. But thank you for. I don't feel as scared now.
No.
About the other path.
Nor should any of us.
No, I don't think there's anything to fear.
Thank you, Bruce, and thank you, David.
Welcome.